Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pageant Community Radio, a show to promote diversity and to give people a voice. And today I'm very lucky as we have the beautiful Romy Simpkins on. Hi, Romy.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hello. No, that's fine. Thank you so much for taking part. And I should have said, Romy Simpkins, Director of Atlantic Pageants and a Miss Intercontinental UK finalist with your beautiful sash. Can see it
Yes.
there.
Oh.
Gorgeous. So we've got to start off with, how has lockdown been for you?
Lockdown has obviously impacted a lot of people, and it has been a huge change in kind of routine and structure and obviously seeing people. But for me, it's actually been quite positive where I've been able to still work online and support people, technically classed as a key worker, working in a mental health charity. And it gives more flexibility, me being able to work from home in terms of my hours, because I can offer more to people, which is always, I think, more
Oh, that's
fortunate
brilliant.
than being limited. Yeah. So on that side, it's been great for me.
So, as a fellow Southern pageant girl, because it's not very many of us, I feel that. So can we start off with right at the very beginning, your first pageant experience and why you even entered into pageantry?
Sure. And yeah, can I just say, shout out to all the Southern girls. We're small and mighty, woo, woo. Yeah, we got a good force down here anyway, lots of support. But yeah, my journey started, gosh, I'm thinking, got to go back now. In 2012, I competed in Miss Universe Great Britain. At the time, I had no idea that it was probably one of the largest pageants you can compete in nationally and internationally too. So I managed to get an interview and got selected and narrowed down to the final. I think it was like 25 or 30 ladies. And I know there was about 30 ladies just in the London auditions, because there's regional auditions you have to do before
Yeah.
you get selected. So that was exciting. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. I
Yes.
just liked the idea of, I wanted to get back on stage because my passion always lied at performing. Still loved being on stage, and I loved doing charity work already. So I just kind of thought, what is something that I can offer both these things? And I just thought of pageants, and that was kind of it from there. And I got the bug. Like, I
Yeah,
did
the
have
bug.
yeah, got everyone. You either love it or hate it, but the majority are going to love it, to be honest. If you haven't tried it, you should. I was asked to do Miss Dorset, and so obviously I'm from Dorset, and so it was exciting. And then that takes you straight to the the main final. So there's semi-final, and then there's the grand final. And if you win your main county title, you tend to go straight to the big final. And I was able to be successful with that, becoming Miss Dorset 2015. It feels so long ago
Wow.
now.
Oh,
Opportunity to go and compete internationally in Trinidad and Tobago,
wow.
in a system called Miss Global International.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, what? Like, I was quite happy just placing third in this pageant. I
Yeah.
was like, bit of practice, it's great. And when they said, right, we're going to announce the first lady that's going to be representing England, I ended up winning it basically. And I was like, look at my mum, like, what, me?
That's
I was
amazing.
like, yeah, and it was
How was
great.
that? So you went to Trinidad and Tobago for like your first international.
Yeah, it's so different. Yeah, I think we stopped over. There's like, you do like an hour stop over in St. Lucia, and then you go over.
Yeah.
It's really hot out there, but the organisation were lovely, and I managed to place in the top 10 at the international and won the photogenic award, which, back in those days, I was like, didn't have a clue about like photography. I think my mum took my picture in my back garden, and so no professional Charlotte Clemmy or Stacey Clark kind of photos going on. As
Yeah.
pageant girls, most of them would have heard those names. So yeah, I was really shocked that I won that. That
Goodness.
it all went completely like all guns blazing basically after that, because I entered the system that you are a finalist for, Galaxy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I did Galaxy England 2016. Got to get the year
I
right.
remember these pictures of you actually. Yes.
Yes. Thinking, oh, this looks fun. And when I entered, I didn't really know anyone, because even though I did Miss England, and the other one, I wasn't aware of this pageant community. And then suddenly, because of the director, Holly, what she created, everyone felt like they kind of knew each other, and you get all these friend requests, and everyone's messaging each other, and the group support. And I was like, oh, this is really lovely. I like this. And then, so I decided, because I never heard of it until I saw some ladies walking around whilst I was competing in Galaxy with these blue sashes on. And I was like, oh, what's this system that you're in? And they're like, oh, it's the UK Power Pageant. This is interesting. And I started doing my research, and
Yeah.
I did have a coach at the time, because I was really fortunate enough to win a scholarship for a year with the London School of pageantry. And with that, we kind of worked together, and a bit of chat with my mum as well, who's my like number one fan kind of thing of
Shout
what would
out
be.
to mum.
Shout out to my mum, shout out to my mum. I really wanted to win Miss International UK. And I'll never forget when we were all on stage and I was holding my two friends' hand. I was literally squeezing them so hard. I'm not surprised I didn't break their hands. And the lady went, are you ready? We're like, yeah. And then they're like, and now we're going to announce Miss International UK. And I was like, what? I thought they were going to do that last, because it's kind of, that was the known as the biggest one technically, because it's top 4 in the world to go to Miss International. And I remember going, just say Romy, just say Romy, just say Romy, just say Romy. And I was like, Romy. That's all I kept thinking in my head. And then I heard my name, I was like, oh my gosh, I've actually done it. Like I was in shock.
And then you headed off to, where did you go?
I went to Japan. We stayed in Tokyo, even though we traveled. I don't even know where we traveled to, because we traveled everywhere.
What a great pageant career you've had, like all the internationals, all the opportunities you've had. And obviously it's not ended there, but we will come to that. I wanted to touch on, so after international, what made you then decide to go into being a director yourself and taking on that responsibility?
Once I handed over, I didn't have, my focus wasn't as there in a particular pageant, because there was a pageant, which is the one that I'm in now, was something I really wanted to go into. But I was obviously like the crossover, I wasn't able to do it because I still had a title. So I had another year to wait. And I was like, I'm getting impatient. I'm one of those people that I like to be doing something. I love being in pageantry. I don't just love competing. I love judging. I love just watching. I love cheering people on. And I just wanted to give women in this country who maybe aren't quite ready for the international experience, or just want us to take a step back from the international experience and to gain a national title, the opportunity to be heard, to be known, to get their name out there, and to actually see what pageantry is really about. The friendships you make, the memories you gain, and the confidence that it can install in you. The ladies do have an option to choose another charity, and that can combine and go towards the charity title that we offer, which is completely separate to the 5 queens that we crown. But it's just a nice touch to kind of, as a well done for your efforts, because I know how much fundraising and hard work, appearances and all this goes into it, and I just want to reward people for their efforts. So that's why I started Atlantic.
Amazing. Do you know what? I've heard nothing but good things about Atlantic and your way of being a director. So well done on that. So we've got to go on to this lovely white sash you've got on there as you're competing in Miss Intercontinental UK. And so tell us a little bit about that and why you really wanted to enter this system so long, and also your platform.
Yes. So it's actually changed to Miss Intercontinental UK as just one title this year, because we're actually competing virtually. And for anyone who's interested, it's going ahead on Saturday, the 22nd of May. Anyway, I'm very excited to get my films and submitted and my head.
Exciting. I mean, afterwards, fingers crossed for you. Hopefully we can see some of these. That'd be good as well.
Yes, I'm really fortunate that I'm getting lots out there, and hopefully I'll be able to kind of showcase some of my, my dress and maybe things like that, a sneak peek or something. But yeah, the reason why I entered Miss Intercontinental UK is because, doing all these different pageants, they've all got different purposes. And obviously it's important to be able to bring your own spin on it. The things I've gone through in life have changed significantly since then, and I actually found myself coming out of a quite difficult relationship back then, and which actually involved being with someone who formed narcissistic behaviors and tendencies. And that is something that I'm really passionate about getting out and raising more awareness about. There's, at the moment, all about kind of domestic violence and sexual harassment, all those things are on the up at the moment, sadly, and it's such a shame. But I think we need to hear more about that. And we also need to hear the more other kind of abuse that people can suffer that isn't so noticeable, and that is coercive control and narcissism. And because I've been through it, and despite going through pageant to pageant, I'm now in a place where I can share some of my story, but also say you can come through it, and I can also lead by example that you can get through it, and this is what you could potentially to look out for. My main passion has always been mental health, but that does play a huge part when working or fundraising for causes that are to do with domestic violence, because a lot of people that I have worked in my position have actually experienced trauma significantly around abuse of some sort, so they do have a bit of a connection there. So I think it ties really well with my ultimate passion of mental health, and body acceptance and self-confidence, but also having an understanding how someone, whether it's a partnership, a family member, a work colleague, can have such an effect on someone's life. So with that, I've created a couple of campaigns recently as a part of the two platforms that I'm particularly more passionate about. One was actually called Reflections, and that was all about kind of body positivity, self-love, because often we look in the mirror and we're so negative and critical of ourselves, when really we should be giving ourselves positive thoughts, positive affirmations, get those quotes out there, and putting those statements out there ultimately lifts you up. So that was a really nice touch to do that, and I think that can make a huge difference in people's mental health. And with the other part that I've got going, haven't put it up yet. I have announced what it's called, but I'm yet to post all the pictures because I want it to be a real statement, is my campaign for the narcissistic behavior and coercive control. And that's called the Red Flags. So what it is showing through images that were all done before lockdown happened, and showing examples of what you could potentially be looking out for when you are with someone who is maybe a narcissist or showing coercive control. Pageant is all about kind of dare to dream is the hashtag. And I guess it's about pushing yourself to your limits. Don't just settle for mediocre. Always strive to be the best version of yourselves, regardless of what life, challenges you or puts you through. And that's what I've learned throughout life and all the things I've been through. I've never stopped trying. I've never stopped being me. I've always been my authentic self. And I think that's so important. So I hope I can bring that to
I think we've definitely all seen that you are your authentic self, and we've seen the hard work that you've been putting into all of this, and it's such key and really important things that you're raising awareness for. So thank you for doing that, because it's really important, I think. So obviously thank you as well for taking part in Pageant Community Radio. Now for me, it's about raising awareness of diversity and the different cultures and the different people that we have in the systems and their platforms that they're raising awareness for, as you've just spoken about. So why do you think it's important to have diversity in pageantry?
I think it's so important because we're not all the same, but we are all human at the end of the day. And we all should have a choice to do as we please. We should all be listened, and we should all be heard, and we should all be respected. And that shouldn't, take into account your race, your color, all this kind of thing. You be you, and that's what's important. And that's what diversity is being you, being your unique self. And that's what matters. And if you're happy with that, then fair play to you. And I just say, that's what pageantry is about, is bringing people together, loving who we are, and also supporting each other along the way.
That's perfect. So if anyone wants to follow you, follow your journey especially, and also maybe contact you about Atlantic Pageants, which would be great. So could you let us know what they are?
Yeah, sure. It's really, really simple. So if you would want to follow my journey in pageantry, you can just find my name, which is Romy Simpkins, on Instagram or on Facebook, and I've got a public page on both. If you'd want to check out Atlantic, which is my national system, if you just type in Atlantic Beauty Pageant into Facebook or Instagram, it will come up. But we also have a website, which is simple, www.atlanticbeautypageant.co.uk. So yeah, and people can apply for next year's pageants, and dates will be revealed soon. So
Well, thank you so much for taking part. It's really, really fabulous to have you on. As you can see, we're both in the dark here, guys. So it's getting late. Thank you so much. We wish you all the best for your new pageant, Miss Intercontinental UK. We'll be watching your journey, and we will also keep you updated.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.